got sunshine on a holiday. Good morning, creepers. How are we all doing? Yeah, today is a log splitting tutorial. Not that I'm an expert by any means, but I thought I would give you guys some hints, tips, and ideas when you are either cutting your own firewood, but this is more for people who buy their firewood from somebody else, okay? So we're going to talk about that a little bit and what goes into that and why the price might be not what you expect, okay? So this is my setup. This is just how I do it. I will explain how I used to do it and how I do it now. And I'm not going to show my face. You don't need to see that this early in the morning. It's 9:11. I'm getting later. Back to wood splitting. What I used to do, first of all, let's talk about the price. You can look at firewood prices anywhere from $300 a cord, which is a, let me think, 4 foot long, 4 foot wide by 4 foot high by 8 feet long. Okay, that's a full cord. A lot of times what you're buying is what's called a face cord or a third of a cord. Okay, a third of a cord is a 16-inch piece because 16, 16, and 16 is 4 feet. 16, 32, 48. That's your 4 foot. Okay, so if you looked at this little bar right here, let's say this is your full cord right here, okay? That would be 4 foot wide, 8 feet long, and then 4 feet high. A face cord, or a third of a cord, would be just 16-inch logs, which is what I cut mine into, 16 inches by 4 foot high by 8 feet long, okay? I'm not selling a lot of firewood, but if I have any extra, I always sell it at the top dollar. I will sell it for $100 for a face cord or $300 for a full cord. Why? Because one, it's a lot of work. 2, it's my firewood. 3, it's that's about the top dollar range, and I don't need to sell it. I don't have to sell it, but if you need it, come and get it, okay? I didn't have my own land. I had like 2 acres, and I got some wood off of that, but not a lot. So I would travel to either my uncle's land or a farm, somebody else I knew, and you would have to travel several miles just to cut the firewood. And then you buck the logs up, which is cutting the logs. You might have a 16, 18, 24, whatever long length tree you have, and you buck it up into rounds like this. These are called rounds, okay? For obvious reasons. They're round, and you buck them up into lengths, okay? Again, mine are 16-inch lengths, all right? So you have to cut the tree down, one. Then you have to buck the tree up, which is these rounds here. Then you got to split the wood, and then somehow deliver it back to your place or whatever you're going to do with it, and then cover it up so it can dry, okay? What I do now is I have my own property, and I have a neighbor who generously lets me cut on his property. I go out, cut trees down, dead trees or double trees or trees that are in the way or diseased or whatever. I'm not cutting perfectly good trees down. I go out, cut the rounds up, or cut the trees down, buck them up in the rounds. Then I either will split it at the seam and then haul it back with my four-wheeler and a trailer, which is not a huge trailer. I mean, a four-wheeler, this is a 400. It's not gonna haul, you know, a truckload. It's gonna haul a small load several times, okay? So that's more time, more gas, more effort, more danger, all that stuff, okay? So you have the felling of the tree, bucking up the tree, splitting the rounds, transporting them, some place where you can cover it. I used to cover it with tarps. Now I've built a wood shed. I can store my wood in it, okay? If I'm selling the wood, I leave it sit out and I cover it with a tarp, okay? It's fine. Now, that's a lot of work. So when you see a price for firewood that's anywhere from $100 to $75 to $50 even, that's the cheap end really, and I will talk about that later. You understand a little bit more about what goes into the cutting and everything else. By the time you get that firewood, a lot of sweat equity has been put into that. A lot of sweat equity, a lot of danger, a lot of fuel, a lot of time, and a lot of effort, okay? It's just to get the wood to you before you burn it. Now, let's talk about prices. Anywhere from $50 to $100 in that price range is fair, depending on what you're getting. let's talk about drying wood first of all. This wood has been cut, bucked up, and been sitting out here pretty much all summer. Okay, if you show up to somebody's place and they tell you it's been seasoned, and you pull up to get the wood in your own truck and not delivered, and you see it sitting out like this, it's not necessarily bad, but it's not the best. Okay, it's not covered for one, so yes, it's still drying from the wind and the sun. It's still getting rained on, and if it's got bark on it, that bark will certainly soak up that wood and trap the wood between the bark and the wood you want to burn actually. Okay, so the moisture sitting in there. One way to tell if the wood's dry, one, if it's covered. If you're getting it delivered, that step is out. You can't see that. But if you show up and it's covered, okay, you got one good check mark. That's good. Two, what kind of wood is it? Is it all hardwood? Is it softwood? And the only way I can really tell you to test that is if you know your wood, if you know what kind it is. But there are some tests. You can take your fingernail, you can take a nail even, and push into the wood. And there's hardwood, which that is very hard. And there's softwood, which I have poplar over there, which is a softer of the hardwoods, but it's still, I don't burn it, it's junk. But anyways, you can, it will leave an indentation. That's a softwood. And also you can smell it. I mean, if you pick a chunk of wood up and it's super light, that's a softwood. It's probably pine or something like that, okay? You don't want to burn those in your fireplace or your wood stove. They're okay for outdoor burning, or even an outdoor wood burner, but not in a fireplace or a wood stove, okay? So if it's hardwood, that's another check. That's good. So covered, hardwood, check, okay? Now we want to talk about how seasoned is it. When I've bought wood before, people told me it was seasoned, and I had it delivered. Most of the time, unfortunately, most of the time it's not seasoned. Just because you cut that tree down last year doesn't mean it's seasoned, okay? They might tell you, oh, the tree's been down for a year. Okay, great, that's good. But is the tree down and laying in the woods somewhere for a year, and then you went out last week and cut it up and split it? That's not seasoned, okay? Seasoned is when it's bucked up, split, and sitting for 6 months to a year. That's when it's dry. Oh yeah, it was sitting out for a year. Ask them, when did you split it? Oh, we split it last week, it's good to go. No, it's not. No, it's not. I guarantee it. Okay, I almost cursed right there. Try not to. So another sign you can tell if it's dry. You see how, I wish I had a piece that wasn't dry, but a lot of these are drying out. You see how these cracks are forming in the wood here? These are called checks and cracks, okay? That means it's drying. It's on the drying process, okay? And you can see that on all those pieces of wood there. They are all split, not split, but cracked, checked. They have cracks in them, okay? That's a good sign this wood is drying. Still, this wood is not completely dry. I'm gonna split this, I'm gonna burn this later this year, but it's gonna be late season. This is gonna be the wood I burn probably in March, okay? So it's gonna have September, October, November, December, January, February, 6 months to dry still. And it'll probably be fine in December. But I'm gonna split it here today and get it taken care of. So you can check and see if there's cracks and checks in it. That's another way to tell if it's dry. So if it's covered, it's split, and it's got checks in it like that, it's on its way to being dry. That way you can tell, okay? And the final way is, which is really obvious, if you walk up to that wood pile, or that wood that's just been delivered, and you can smell oak or whatever kind of wood it is, if you can smell it, it's not dry. Wood that's been dry will not put off a strong odor, if any odor at all. You won't smell it, okay? Take a piece of it, if you can, and split it yourself. Because the outside might look dry, but when you split the inside of it, it might not be dry. And if you can smell it, it's not dry, it's not seasoned, okay? So be aware of that. These are just some tips that I have for people who are buying firewood. Make sure it's dry, make sure it's been covered, and make sure it's been cut and split for at least 6 years, good Lord, 6 months, okay? Yeah, there are exceptions to this. I love a maple tree that is standing dead, because that is some of the driest wood you can find, especially a young maple tree. I don't know why, but if you find a young maple tree that either the bark is barely hanging on, which you'll be able, the bark is pretty thin on a maple tree. If I can get over here. Yeah, see how thin that bark is right there? And I'm not sure what happened to that tree right there. Must have gotten bumped or something. But that bark will hang on, and it will actually act as a shield for water getting in. It'll shed the water off the wood itself. So if I find a dead tree standing, yeah, I'll cut it down, and I'll probably burn that within a week. It'll dry. It's good to go, okay? So yeah, there are exceptions to what I'm telling you. So yeah, if you're buying firewood, make sure it's covered. Make sure it's been cut and split. There's checks and cracks in the end of the wood, and you can't smell that firewood. Again, if you smell it, it's the no-go, okay? So that's it for today, I think. How long is this video already? 13 minutes, that's not too bad. I'm gonna fire my little yard max up here, and I'm gonna get to work. If I find anything interesting, I'll show you that. But other than that, oh, I did I did want to show you one thing. Let me take this camera off so you can actually see. Okay, my wife has tried to throw these shorts out several times. And my outfit, I think, is perfect for splitting firewood, okay? I don't know about you, but I think I look pretty stylish. You've got the rubber boots, the socks shown at the top, a little leg gap, you know, for air circulation, because that's always nice. And these shorts, she's trying to throw these shorts out. I think they're stylish. I'm not sure what she's talking about, but I know she's watching right now, so I'm probably gonna get a look for that one. But yeah, that's my outfit. And of course I got safety glasses, but I'm not cutting anything. I'm not running a chainsaw, so normally I would have my bibs on and I would have chaps on and all that stuff, but I'm definitely gonna have my gloves on. I'm definitely gonna have my glasses on because accidents with log splitters happen. I'll tell you that story right now while I got you on here. I had rented a log splitter last year, and this is in no way the fault of this log splitter or where I rented it from. I'm not even gonna tell you where I rented it from because you might think that it's their fault. It's not their fault at all. But anyways, I had rented a log splitter, and I had gotten up super early, went down to a neighbor's house who had some logs laying out there, and I'd cut them up to split. And I got up there at like 5:30 in the morning last summer and was working. And I had a canopy set up because it was super hot week that week. It was like 95 to 100 degrees that week. And I wanted to get down there early and get the work done. It was about 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I had just looked back at what I was doing at the log, at the big pile of rounds I had. I thought, I might be able to get this done today. And I turned around, and I had my hand, like I always do. Let me show you here. Had my hand like this on the splitter, okay? Or maybe it was like this. It was probably like that. I was probably just holding it there like this, okay? And I had the other hand over here on the handle, not this log splitter, a different log splitter. And I engaged it, and it came in. And the piece of wood somehow, I have a piece of, what the devil? Get out of my shorts. Piece of grass up my shorts. Somehow this wood spun in a way that took my hand. That's soft. That's rotten. Okay. Anyways, it took my hand and slammed it right against the edge of the log splitter and the wood. And it did what they call degloving my finger. Let me put this strap back on so I can use both my hands here. Bear with me for a second. I might cut this part out while I'm putting it on, but you get the idea. I gotta strap this GoPro chest mount on. Okay, so I was working here. And again, I usually do this. It happens so quick, guys and gals. I may have had it like this. I usually have my hand on top. Never here. That's just stupidity right there. You never put your hand here. That's dumb. Okay? And I know I didn't do that. But I may have had it like this, just holding the log like this. I don't think it was like this. I think it was like that. Because that log spun somehow. The log splitter didn't have this one. I love this feature on the Yard Max. This Yard Max has this. So if your log gets pinched, it can still rotate because this will rotate. So I like that feature. But it grips that log. That log can't kick out on you, which is what happened here. Again, that's just the log splitter the way it was manufactured. This is the only log splitter I've ever seen, called a Yard Max, that has this feature on it, okay? I love that feature. But I think that would have saved me with this other log splitter. what happened was it kicked out, spun, and took my finger like that, you know, and just smashed it against the bottom of this, okay? Because when my buddy came, I went to the hospital. My buddy came to get the log splitter. The log was like this, and the wedge was stuck against the piece of wood. And he said, when he got there, he was like, "Oh God, I'm going to find a finger underneath this log." Well, the finger was not in the log. The finger was still in the glove. Okay, so my pinky was still in there. Okay, yeah, fun story, right? So when it happened, honest to God, folks, it happened that quick. I thought I just smashed my finger. That's what it felt like. I mean, a bad smash, like a sledgehammer hit it. That's what it felt like. And yeah, I jumped up and down and grabbed my hand and freaked out. When I took that glove off and I saw that much of my finger missing, yeah, it got my attention a little bit. So I drove back up to the house, and my wife was in bed reading a book. And I opened the door and said, "I'm okay, but I cut the end of my finger off." Well, she jumped up, drove me to the hospital. Long story short, surgery a year later, it still tingles and it's still numb. When I touch it, it feels like a 9-volt battery shocking you, and it's always cold. But you're supposed to touch it and mess with it all the time, so to get it stimulated. So that's the story on that one. But yeah, wasn't the log splitter's fault, it was my fault. So always wear your protective gear, which I did. I mean, I had gloves on, I had my safety glasses on, I was doing everything right. It was just almost, I'm guessing, a freak accident. Okay, so that's enough of me talking today. That's just some tips on how to look at your wood, what it entails, how much work goes into it. I'm gonna fire this bad boy up here, and I will get back to you all later. So if you like this video, I'll have more of them about, you know, maybe felling trees and things like that. Again, I'm not an expert, gals. I'm just a regular Joe who's out here cutting firewood for his house, and I will occasionally sell some to people who, you know, might be close by or things like that. I'm not advertising it, and I will never advertise it because that's just a lot of work. Okay, but yeah, if you like this video, like, subscribe. I've got 30 subscribers now. I'm hoping to get to 50 here soon. So the best way you guys can help me do that is by liking, sharing this video. I put it on Facebook and everything. Make comments on the video itself, not on the Facebook post, but on the video itself. If you watch it, make a comment down below, hit that like button. That will help me tremendously. So all you folks that are subscribing, I appreciate you greatly. I'm not doing this to make money. I'm doing this because it's fun. And I enjoy it. I enjoy my fishing videos. I enjoy my wood splitting. I enjoy being outside. That's why it's called Creeping Outdoors, because I'm kind of creepy and we're outside. And we are going to be looking at hunting videos here shortly, and some scouting videos, how I do things. Again, not necessarily the right way, but how I do it, okay? And we hit in the fall, the fishing will die down tremendously, and the hunting will pick up exponentially, okay? That's the right word to use there? I don't know. I forget. So that's it for today. I'm gonna fire this bad boy up. Hopefully it starts on the first pool. See ya.